The Antikythera Mechanism, the first computer in history. More than 2,000 years ago, long before modern science, long before electricity, satellites or silicon chips, long before humanity even imagined digital technology, someone built a machine so advanced, so precise, and so far beyond the engineering abilities of its time that for more than a century modern experts refused to believe it was real. A device discovered accidentally in the blue waters of the Aegean Sea, buried for 2 millennia in a shipwreck, encrusted with salt and corrosion, and yet holding inside gears, mathematics, and mechanical logic that should not have existed in the ancient world. Today, we call it the Antikythera Mechanism. If this machine had been found alone, if someone had dug it up on land, without context, without the shipwreck, it might have been dismissed as a hoax. It was too perfect, too complex, too modern. Instead, it was discovered in 1901 by sponge divers searching for sea sponges near the Greek island of Antikythera. They saw statues, jewelry, amphorae, and the remains of a ship that sank sometime around 70 BCE. But no one paid attention to the corroded lump of bronze and wood, at least not at first. It looked like nothing more than a rock, a greenish barnacle-covered shape with no visible features. It lay ignored in storage for months. Then, one day, a museum curator noticed faint lines on the surface, grooves that were too straight to be natural. When the lump split apart, the impossible appeared. Interlocking gears, teeth carved with stunning precision, inscriptions in ancient Greek, and delicate mechanisms so small, so intricate that they seemed like the work of a modern watchmaker. The world was not ready for what had been found. For decades, scholars debated its purpose. Some claimed it was a clock. Others thought it was an astrolabe, a navigational tool. But the deeper they studied it, the more impossible it became. The craftsmanship was beyond anything known from antiquity. Not just advanced, unthinkably advanced. It contained at least 30 gears, each carved with mathematical ratios. It could track solar motion, lunar cycles, eclipses, the positions of planets, and even the dates of athletic games like the ancient Olympics. This was not a simple tool. This was a machine of prediction, an ancient computer. To understand the magnitude of this discovery, imagine a modern mechanical clock. Now imagine humanity had never invented clocks, gears, or advanced mathematics. Now imagine someone produces a device that predicts eclipses with extreme accuracy, tracks the uneven motion of the moon, and models celestial cycles thousands of years into the future. That is what this ancient device did. Yet the ancient world had no other examples of such engineering. Nothing like it existed elsewhere. No other artifact of similar complexity has ever been found from that era. It appears in history like a lightning bolt, brilliant, unexpected, and without explanation. Who built it? How and why? To answer these questions, we must go back to the ancient Greek world, a place of philosophers, astronomers, and mathematicians who sought to understand the universe not through myth, but through logic and numbers. Thinkers like Archimedes, Hipparchus, and Apollonius laid the foundations for astronomy, geometry, and mechanical engineering. Their writings describe gears, ratios, and celestial models, but none mention a device like this. And yet, someone took their ideas further, much further. The mechanism uses a complex system of gears to model the anomalistic month, the moon's irregular orbit around Earth. This detail alone requires mathematical understanding so advanced that it would not be rediscovered until the 16th century. The device encodes the 19-year Metonic cycle, the 76-year Callippic cycle, and the 223-month Saros eclipse cycle. It predicts solar and lunar eclipse with eerie accuracy. It includes inscriptions that describe stars, celestial events, and astronomical relationships. This is not guesswork, it is engineering brilliance. But the most astonishing part of the mechanisms is its display system. Turn a crank, and multiple dials rotate simultaneously, each reflecting a different cycle of nature. The sun's path, the moon's phase, the retrograde motion of planets, and future eclipses with their exact characteristics. It is a mechanical representation of the cosmos, a portable universe, a machine that lets you see the future. And it should not exist. No other device of similar sophistication would appear for another 1,000 years. Medieval clocks, Renaissance mechanisms, early Islamic astronomical calculators, all are primitive compared to this. So how did ancient engineers reach this level? Some historians believe the machine may have been designed by followers of Hipparchus, one of the greatest astronomers of antiquity, whose work on lunar cycles matches the internal mathematics of the mechanism. Others argue it reflects the work of Archimedes, who created advanced war machines, mechanical devices, and celestial models. There is even a theory that multiple great minds contributed, sharing knowledge across generations, finally producing a device so advanced that it outpaced the technology of its time by centuries. But if that were true, where are the others? Where are the prototypes? The workshops? The documents? How could knowledge so sophisticated appear once, and then vanish completely? For more than a century, this has been the greatest puzzle. Modern researchers have used X-rays, digital reconstructions, and CT scans to uncover the machine's internal structure. Hidden behind layers of corrosion, the device contains gear trains of astonishing complexity, some using triangular teeth, a design thought to be a modern innovation. One gear system models the variable speeds of the moon's orbit by using a pin and slot mechanism, something thought impossible for the ancient world. And the accuracy is astounding. The mechanism models celestial cycles with precision so high that it rivals Renaissance astronomy. So what happened? Why didn't this knowledge survive? The answer may lie in the fragility of ancient history. Wars destroyed libraries. Fires erased archives. Political upheaval silenced scientists. Knowledge was lost again and again. A single workshop, a single master craftsman, a single fragile chain of transmission. And if any link breaks, everything disappears. Imagine if the only surviving computer in the far future were destroyed. People might think digital technology was a myth. Perhaps the mechanism is the last surviving example of a whole tradition of ancient engineering. Or perhaps it was never widely known at all, created by one genius whose skill was too rare to replicate. And yet, even with modern tools, we still do not fully understand it. Some inscriptions remain hidden, some gears are missing, some functions are unclear. Every new scan reveals deeper layers of complexity. One startling revelation came when researchers realized the device modeled not just Earth's sky, but celestial relationships far ahead of its time. It includes the synodic cycles of Mercury and Venus, planets whose motions require sophisticated astronomical models to track. How ancient engineers discovered these cycles remains unknown. Did they inherit knowledge from earlier civilizations? Did they develop it independently? Or was the mechanism based on lost teachings we no longer possess? Today, the device sits in a museum in Athens, silent, broken, incomplete. Yet even in ruin, it remains one of the most advanced machines ever created. One of the greatest intellectual achievements in human history. One of the deepest mysteries of our technological past. Because the truth is this: if a single device like this survived, how many others were lost? If this represents the peak of ancient engineering, how high was the mountain beneath it? If ancient civilizations could produce technology centuries ahead of their time, what else did they know? The mechanism is not just a machine. It is a message. A message from a world far more intelligent, far more curious, and far more capable than we ever imagined. A message that reminds us that progress is not linear, That knowledge can leap forward and vanish. That brilliance can emerge and be forgotten. That entire chapters of human innovation can disappear without a trace. The ancient world was not primitive. The ancient world was extraordinary. And somewhere, 2,000 years ago, a mind of unimaginable genius built a machine that still astonishes us today. The first computer in history, a machine ahead of time, a machine without equal, a machine that changed everything we thought we knew about ancient technology. And maybe, just maybe, a machine that hints at a lost chapter of human civilization, still waiting to be rediscovered.